What is up, Flockers? That is my fellow Lockers and aspiring Lockers. In today's video, we're going to be talking about 4 trends with Microlocs or habits that we should be leaving in the past year in 2022. So let's talk about them. With the new year approaching, there are always some things that we look to do when it comes to New Year's resolutions and whatnot. And as I got to thinking about Microlocs and hair in general, I was just like, there are some things, some trends, some thought processes that I want to leave in the past, and maybe some of the people out there can relate. So I wanted to go ahead and share those with y'all. The first thing that I think that we should leave in 2022 is looking to other people to give us all the answers for our hair and not listening to ourselves. If you've watched my previous videos, then you know I preach this all the time on this channel. I preach listening to your hair, listening to your scalp, knowing your own hair and scalp, and I just really live by that and mean that. There are a lot of great people here on YouTube and on other platforms that can give you all the advice in the world, but at the end of the day, nobody has your set of hair, nobody has your scalp, nobody has your exact hair texture, hair density, hair length, all the other hair things, hairy hair that comes with it that makes your set of locks. Every set of locks is individual, every set of locks is unique. And although you may look at someone on camera or in pictures and be like, man, their locks look just like mine, or they're the same length as mine, or close, or their hair looks almost exactly like mine, there's a possibility that it might not be. Your hair might look exactly like someone else's, but they're low porosity and you're high porosity, which means that your hair reacts different to water and products that you put in it. Or maybe in locked form it looks similar, but you guys have different curl patterns, and so that affects how quickly your hair locks or grows out as you retie it, and how long you go between reties, or even with your lock pattern, curl pattern, different products that you can use on it. So there are so many different factors that affect your individual set of locks. So it is wonderful and important to soak in as much information and advice as you can, but I really feel like we need to leave in the past, leave in 2022. Why did I say 2022? Leave in 2022 the need or desire to latch onto every word that a favorite YouTuber or a favorite vlogger or whatever says, because again, at the end of the day, you need to know your locks, you need to know your hair, your scalp. Yes, you can take advice from people. Yes, you can listen to your loctician and take advice from them, but nobody else is growing this hair out of their head except for you. You know your scalp if your scalp is feeling a certain way. You know your locks, your hair, if it's feeling a certain way. So you have to listen to it at the end of the day and not just take someone else's word for it. So let's leave that in the past. The number 2 thing on my list of trends and habits that I feel like we need to leave in 2022 in the past, whatever year you may be watching this in the future, for leaving it in the past, is comparing our set of locks to someone else. Now, I am guilty of this too. It is so easy to go down the rabbit hole, especially when you're in the starter stages, and especially if you have short hair, even if your hair is not short, but when you're in the starter stages of locks and you're looking at other people, you've got lock crushes, you've got people that you aspire to look like when your locks get longer, when your locks get more mature or fuller, and you compare yourself. And what's that saying that they say, comparison is the thief of good? Nope, that's not it. I think the saying is comparison is the thief of joy. And I know that can seem a little bit extreme sometimes, and people are like, okay, you're thinking too much and too deep into it. But honestly, it can rob you of some joy if you're constantly comparing your hair to someone else's. If you're constantly speaking negative things over yourself and your hair because you're so busy trying to look like someone else without realizing that that someone else had to get to that stage. So they were looking like something else before they got to the point that they're at now. You know, if you go back to their first couple of months or month 6 when their hair was getting super frizzy and their hair was growing outside of the locks and stuff like that, you might be like, ooh, dang, you got a whole chia pet growing underneath your locks. It's really easy to look at where someone's locks are in the current state, or maybe just go back a couple of months, or if they're several years into their journey, go back and look at year 2 or year 1 and not realize that before they got to that milestone that they're at, they went through their own stages. They probably went through their own dislike of their locks at some point, because not everybody loves every stage. Not everybody embraces every stage. And it's not something that's easy for everybody. I'm on lock journey number 5 or 6 at this point. So at this point, I am able to embrace and love every stage of my locks in the journey. But on previous journeys, I haven't always been there. I've taken shortcuts. I've wanted to cut my locks off because they didn't look the way that I thought they should look at month 6 or year 1. I say all that to just say, let's leave the comparisons in the past, okay? Let's love on our hair for the stage that it's in now, knowing that, yeah, one day we'll get to somewhere. It might not be where we're wanting to go, but it might end up being somewhere way better than we could have ever anticipated or imagined. Maybe the pictures and lock crushes that you were looking at today, maybe your hair ends up looking even better than theirs does. But don't tell them that. Don't tell them that. Don't go in their comments and be like, I was crushing on your locks 2 years ago, but now mine look better. We won't do that. But I'm just being real with y'all. We need to leave that in the past. Let's bring positive energy going into 2023 and leave the negative thoughts and energy in the past. All right, the number 3 thing on my list is something that I have been doing a lot more recently that I really want to leave in 2022 and stop doing, and that is deviating from my retie schedule. Now, I'm not saying that I need to be super strict down to the day, the hour, the minute that my retie needs to be done, but I am saying that I want to do better about retying my hair on the schedule that I've set for myself. And before anybody gets worried or concerned or anything like that, no, I don't have any major issues when I deviate from the schedule. I'm not going 12 weeks or anything like that to where my hair is matted together and I'm having to do major separation and popping. It's nothing like that. It's not because I'm having to spend extra hours retying my hair because I didn't keep up and I let my new growth grow too long. I'm at 6 weeks right now, and I don't know how well you can see, but there is new growth. It's nothing crazy, but it's time to retie. But lately, I've just been putting it off for several days, sometimes a week. And the reason that I want to leave that in the past is because, not because of what it does to my hair, but because of what it does to my mental state. Because I get into this lazy mode where I'm like, it's not looking that long, it's not looking that bad. Let me just push it off for another couple of days. And then that next couple of days ends up turning into a week. And then I get busy with life and activities and work and other things like that. And then I'm like, I'll put it off to this weekend. And the next thing you know, you're 2 weeks out from the time that you said you were going to retie. And I want to do a better job of sticking to my retie schedule, like I said, just for sticking to it so that I'm not pushing it down and down further and further down the line. Because I am noticing that as my locks are maturing more and more, now that I'm like past a year and a half, going on 2 years and some months down the road, but I am noticing that I don't have the marrying at the roots like I was having in the first year of my lock journey. 6 weeks in, I'm not having to go through and pull my locks apart daily when I wash them or just on a day-to-day basis. I'm not having marrying at the roots like that like I was before. I don't have so much new growth that it takes me, like I said, an extra 3 hours to retie my hair because I waited an additional 2 weeks. So I am noticing that I'm able to put it off longer, and I don't want it to get to the point where I'm waiting 8, 9, 10 weeks just because I can, and then I end up having to spend extra hours doing my hair because nobody's got time for that. All right, maintenance already takes long enough. No need to add extra time to that. The number 4 thing on the list that I want people to leave in 2022 or leave in whatever previous year that they're coming from is HIHS. You said, what is HIHS? Besides it sounding like you got something in your throat. HIHS. HIHS. Hand and hair syndrome. I don't know how many countless videos I watched between Microlockers, Sisterlockers, lockers in general, even natural hair, loose natural hair, people talking about hair and hand syndrome, or hand and hair syndrome, sorry. I don't know. I know every head of hair is different, and so if putting your hands in your hair causes your hair to break off and fall off and chip away at the edges and stuff like that, then maybe you need to keep your hands out of your hair. But if that's not an issue, I think so many people are paranoid because they've heard so much about people talking about hand and hair syndrome that they're like, I gotta just leave my hair alone and I can't touch it and I can't enjoy my hair. And I'm here to say, if I'm gonna do something with my hair, I want to enjoy it. Hair, although I know it is very special and for some people, very deep and very spiritual. For me, I don't have a spiritual connection with my hair. I don't have this deep rooted connection with my hair. And I know I'm speaking as a man, and for women it might be a different thing. But I feel like for the majority of us, hair can grow back unless there's some reason that's causing your hair not to grow back. And so I want to enjoy my hair. And so I've been, I think, pretty good on this video, but if you've seen other videos, I've probably been all in my hair and you know, throughout the day. Now, if you got starter locks, and for example, you got 2-strand twists, I'm not telling you to be sitting there while you're in class or at work and twisting your hair the opposite direction of your 2-strand twist, causing them to unravel. That's not what I'm saying. But what I am saying is that I feel like people have been so afraid to touch their hair because people tell them about hand and hair syndrome and how you got to just leave it alone and don't touch it. But like, isn't that the whole point of having locks and the hair freedom, to be able to enjoy your hair and not have to worry about it and touch it as much as you want? I'm not saying, you know, you need to do tight styles and manipulate it all the time, but if you want to put your hands in your hair, put your hands in your hair, okay? All right, let me step off my soapbox. Put your hands in your hair. If you found this video helpful, please make sure to hit that like button so that I know what type of content you are enjoying, and also hit the subscribe button so that you can join the flock. And before you go anywhere, check out some of the other videos that have popped up on the screen. I'll see you there.